Okay, so in today's tutorial we'll study about the auto wiring feature in the Spring, and this auto wiring is a very powerful feature which is provided with the Spring. So we'll see what actually the auto wiring means. Okay, so what we have been doing so far we have seen that how to wire all of the bean properties. So we have seen how to wire all of the bean properties explicitly using the property element or the constructor argument. Like we studied the two ways, that is setter injection and the constructor injection. So we have been doing this so far and wiring all the bean properties. Alternatively, you can have Spring wire them automatically by setting the auto wire property on each bean that you want the auto wired. What do we mean by this? That we can skip some of the configurations in the Spring.xml, like I don't need to define this property sub element of the bean, but I can wire these property values automatically, and we can just skip the configuration in the XML file. So this is what the auto wiring feature helps us to do. It helps us to skip the configuration in the XML file. Otherwise we need to configure each bean in my XML file. And now how we do is, let's check it. We have 4 types of auto wiring. First is by name. What does the auto wiring by names do? It attempts to find a bean in the container whose name you can say or ID is same as the name of the property being wired, and if a matching bean is not found, then the property will remain unwired. So let's see how we can do it. So first we'll study with the auto wire attribute. Like I have auto wire over here, so I'll write by name and I'll just skip this configuration. So what it will try to do is, it will no, we cannot use it over the address A, because it will try to look for the bean with the name, city and house number. I want to use it on the manager one. So where I'm setting these 3 properties, you can use it on address, but then you need to define the bean with the name, city and house number. Now let's just remove this, so I will comment it. I have just written auto wire by name. So automatically what Spring will try to do is, it will try to look for the bean with the name as that of property, that is address 1, but it will not find any bean over here with the name or the ID, you can say. So it will remain unwired. Similarly, it will try to look for the address 2 and it will be again unwired, and try to look for address 3, still there is no bean, so it will be unwired. And when I am printing this, so these all beans are now unwired and are not being instantiated. So if we are trying to now use the get city and the get house number methods, what will we get? We will get the null pointer exceptions, because beans are not being wired and we are doing it auto wiring. So let's just try to run this first and then we'll see how to remove this null pointer exception. Yes, we are getting the null pointer exception at the address method. Why? Because it is trying to look for the bean with the name address 1, address 2 and address 3. So I can just rename this to address 1, address 2 and address 3. Now it will find all the beans and will wire them with my member variables of the manager class, and you will get all the 3 outputs. So you're getting the first address, second address and the third address. So this is how auto wiring by name works. And definitely you cannot have two beans with the same ID in one spring.xml file. Like if you think that we can have multiple with the same name, that is not possible. It's just like you are having two reference variables with the same name. So duplicate variables will not be allowed. It will show you an error. And instead of this ID, you can also give the attribute name. Even if you use one name and another ID, should it run? No, it should not run, because name and ID means the same. But here at the runtime, it will show you an exception. So see, at runtime it is telling you bean definition parsing exception, because bean name address one is already used in the beans element. So definitely you cannot use it in the same XML file. But there is an alternative to it. What? We can define it in the another XML file and then import that XML file in my main spring.xml file. So let's study about this also here. What I can do is, say I create one more XML file, though the main one is spring.xml, because when we are writing it over here, this is the main. So, and let me define it. The namespaces will be same. And I just want to define the bean with same name now in my spring. Yes, I can do it. This will allow you. And here I just need to write import. Along with that, you need to give the resource. Now address one is having the value which is over here, and then it's import the beans from here, and I have a same bean with name address one. Let's hard code this value. What the first one is having is Chandigarh 2869. So just to make you clear, I am just giving it _new. So what it will do is it will override the older value, and now when it will load the bean from the spring.xml, that is this bean over here, and it will override the address one bean values and use that in my display data main class. So it will allow you to but override the older values. So let's run it. Oh, I used it _new. You cannot. So let's use some string only. I'll use it 8. But it has to be, sorry, integer, not string. Yes, we get the Chandigarh _new and 28698. So it override the values, it auto-wired and override the values. So this way you get all the 3 addresses. So this was another feature which I told you along with the auto wiring, defining the bean with same IDs in different XML files and then importing it in my main XML file. Okay, so that's it about the auto wiring by name. In the next tutorial, we'll discuss about the another two types of auto wiring.